Hey guys, it's February 2nd. We're in the greenhouse for a couple of reasons. To answer some of the questions that were in the comments and to do more planting of seeds. So first I'm going to show you the seeds we picked to plant. These are all cold weather crops. We have an heirloom variety of turnip, which is a white turnip. Now the beauty of this plant is that you can eat the turnip greens as they're growing while the fruit or the vegetable is growing. So they're good for salads and steaming, and then you can eat the turnip at the end. Also very short day. These turn over in 50 or 60 days. Sticking with the roots, we're also going to plant more beets, a different variety, Jupiter. And then I also have another variety of beet right here, Early Wonder. So we're going to get all those root crops in the ground. You can eat the beet greens as well. So these are all good in salads and as well as cooked. And then we're going to do some more brassicas. I have, what do I have here? A dwarf Siberian kale. And you can see what the seeds look like there. And we have some large leaf sorrel, which is a perennial leafy green that we're going to be planting. Also a cold weather crop. And then we're going to plant some of this bronze mignonette lettuce, which is also a cold weather crop. All these can survive below freezing. We're going to be planting some dwarf gray sugar peas, also a cold weather crop. And another brassica here. This is an heirloom purple cauliflower. Imagine that. So we're going to try that. And some radishes. So those are the seeds we picked. They're all good for early season planting, and we're going to plant those later in the show. But these little packs I was showing you, these little packs of about 100 or 200 seeds are coming from one of the seed vaults we have in the Amazon store. This one has 105 varieties. Literally, look at how many varieties of seeds are in here. And I think this one's around 20 bucks. I mean, if you can't afford 20 bucks to fail 105 times, and you're not going to only fail 105 times, look at, there's 10 packs of seeds in here. This is only half of the seeds. So if you're looking for a way to get started, just buy one of these seed kits. I mean, there's enough seeds in here to feed an army, and then you could seed save and keep going from there. So I recommend everyone to have at least 1, 2, 3, 5 of these in their survival kit. This one is about 2 years old. We just broke it open and we're going to start planting from it, seeing how some of these varieties go. Okay, next we're going to cover pesticide. We do use a pesticide in here for aphids and for spider mites, and we apply it with this half-a-gallon sprayer, which is a type of mister. That's the mister up there. We'll show you how that works. But I'm going to show you what I use in it and how to mix it. Where can I put this? Can you get that right down there? So there's only 2 ingredients that go into our natural pesticide. And what we use is a pure neem oil and Dr. Bronner's peppermint Castile soap. I only recommend the peppermint. And you put equal amounts of both to a half gallon, which is like a teaspoon. So watch how little I put in of this. That's all I need right there. And the same amount of neem goes in, and I already put that in. Just a teaspoon or half a teaspoon. Now because neem is an oil and the Dr. Bronner's is a soap, it's important to constantly be shaking this as you're using it. And that's it. You got now a foliar spray. The beauty of the neem oil is that it's good for plant health and leaf shine. So this product itself is like a natural fertilizer from the neem tree. It's also a pesticide. The Dr. Bronner's has peppermint oil in it, which is also good for the plant's leaves. So it's a protectant for the plants, and it's also a desiccant, which kills aphids naturally. It's also completely non-toxic and edible. So you don't even have to wash these products off, so to speak. So they're completely safe. Can you make it down here and follow me without tripping?
Yep.
So in the late winter, early spring, which is now February 2nd, we like to treat for any pests. And if you come over here, Alan, you can see this is really the only place that we have pests. And you can see on the bottom of this leaf, clearly those are aphids. And the only way to properly treat for aphids is to get your Dr. Bronner's neem solution on them. So a lot of people forget to lift up the bottom of the leaves and spray the bottom of the leaf if they're treating. And this is the most important part of spraying, is to get on the bottoms, because that's where most of the colony is. See that one? That leaf is completely covered with aphids. And if you just treat once and you've completely covered the whole plant, you will kill all of the aphids overnight. You can rinse them off in the morning. Some seeds will get through, and then you're going to want to retreat this. But because it's non-toxic, completely safe, and also plant food, it's almost like increasing the CO2 in here. So there, that whole plant is kind of wet and treated. And that's the best we can do. So we're going to get to plant some seeds, and we'll be right back. Hey guys, we're going to start planting with the dwarf gray sugar pea, which is a type of pea pod. You can eat it, you eat the whole pea pod. And so what we put up here is just an upside down tomato cage. And we're spacing them tight. We're planting them about 2 inches apart. And we're going to put the whole 30 seeds or so in this area. Peas are one of those seeds, like beans, that get planted deep, at least 1 inch. So you can see we've got some pretty deep holes here. He's dropping the seed in, and then you're just going to smooth the top over. Basically, to increase the sprouting of your peas, you can soak them overnight. It's really humid in a greenhouse, so soaking is really unnecessary. We just have to wait a few more days. So that's how we're doing the peas, in this little vertical cage system. And as they come up, then we can just net them up this way. So we got 30 dwarf sugar peas in here. I planted 2 small rows of cherry bell radish because they're short and they won't need much space there. And then we're going to move on to beets, and we're going to be planting a whole square of beets right here. Alright, so we just smoothed in our dwarf gray sugars. They're going to be growing here. We got radishes back here. And now we're going to put in some more beets. These are Jupiter beets, about 55-day beet. Now if you read the pack of your seeds, the back of it, it'll tell you how to plant these. And most beet seeds are around the size of the ones he's got there. You're going to want to plant them about 2 inches apart, and a final thinning to 4 inches apart per beet. And so here he's doing a hand seeding method, which allows you to get the maximum out of your seeds. So you're not wasting, by putting 3 in a slot. You can actually space them better this way. You can see them just sitting in there every about 2 inches. And then as they sprout, we can thin these and eat the seedlings as a snack as they come up. So the final thinning you're going to want to beat every 4 inches, spacing about 6 inches to 8 inches if you're in a tight container like mine. You can go even bigger outside. And he's taking his time there. And now to cover these over, it's simple. You don't have to do anything. You just, see that? And then you give it a pat on the back, because that will then form a moisture barrier and begin the seed sprouting. So it should look like you never did anything. And he's just going to do another row there. And then we're going to move on to turnips and perennial seeds like sorrel and lettuce. Oh my. Alright, so we're over here. We're going to show you 2 different styles of planting, a little different than we just had. We had some bigger seeds, and now we're going to be working with some bronze mignette lettuce. So basically these seeds they blow away in the wind. And I've split this bed into 2 halves. In this square that's in the short area, I'm going to be planting the bronze mignette. And I'm going to be doing it by a very simple technique. we were talking about seed depths. Lettuce is one of the seeds that needs to be planted for most lettuce seeds at 1/16 of an inch. Now, if you think about that, that is impossible. How can you do that? Well, I'll show you how you do it. And it's a simple technique where you could take some of your seeds. So I'm going to take about half of this, about a half a gram of the bronze mignette, and I'm just going to gently sprinkle it over the area that I'm seeding. I can even see it sprinkling almost like light dust. So I've sprinkled it over the general area, and then it's called hand rake. I'm going to hand rake the area I just sprinkled with seeds. Just like that. And now all that bronze mignette is planted. And I might even go a little bit the other way. Now granted, all of those thousands of seeds aren't planted correctly. But there's a good number that are, and that's how you plant a lettuce seed. Simply scatter it over the surface and scratch the surface. So those are in. We're going to plant another tiny seed. And these are these white turnips, where literally we have millions of them. So if you have a paper container, you can put a fold in it and then start tapping. And you can see how I can get it all the way to a single seed. See that? I just did it. And that's how I'm going to plant these rows. I'm going to watch a single seed go in every 2 inches. And then I'll thin it later. It feels like I'm almost not doing anything. Because these seeds are so tiny. Take your time and do it right. And we just planted 2 rows of turnips and we didn't lose any seeds. And then these just go right in, same way. Little light tamp. But mostly the water that we put in here will tamp it down. We don't have a lot of wind issues in here. So now we got all these varieties now. And we have one little section left. So we're going to finish off with, what do we got here? We're going to do another beet variety because we love beets. We're going to do a section of kale. And we're going to do some purple cauliflower. So we'll be right back. Okay, here we are, final section. So I'm going to do this a little different. I'm going to take this dwarf Siberian kale here, and I'm going to plant it just like I planted the lettuce through that scatter technique. So I'm going to take about half of it, and then just sprinkle them in this general area. And just rake it in. Kale is one of the easiest plants to grow. And it creates so many extra seeds when you seed save it that you could be a little generous. So now I have a whole dwarf Siberian kale front because I can keep it short and harvest it, and I'm going to grow a little larger stuff in the back here. I'm trying to hold on to this large leaf sorrel because we just cleaned out the bed. So I'm going to dedicate this square to this perennial and we can transplant it later. Again, these seeds are like dust. So, and they take quite a while to sprout. So I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle them in there. Mark it. And hope for the best. Now, you see I got one furrow cut out here. I'm going to do some beets in here. Another variety. This is Early Wonder. I wonder if we planted that earlier too. Not important, but what's important is we have lots of beets, and I'm just going to go in there by hand, putting a seed every 2 inches to thin it out to 4 inches later. So we got a nice little row of Early Wonder beet in here. Yes. Done. Now I'm going to put a second row of beet in here. Speed seeding the beets. We're a little short there, so I'm going to borrow some seeds. And that should about do it. Okay, and the final thing I'm going to plant here is a front row of this purple cauliflower. And it's going to be grown in here with the garlic that we have along the whole perimeter. This is a really microscopic seed. So you're going to want to fold this and then do that tap technique where you eyeball one cauliflower seed coming out every 2 or 4 inches. If we want to grow a whole cauliflower head here, they're going to have to be 6 inches apart or more, because you know how big those get. Okay, so that was simple. We just planted tons of varieties of food. And you can too. That quick. And to learn what crops grow in what season, there are so many resources on the internet. We gave you a simple pesticide trick with Dr. Bronner's and neem oil. You can mix up at home on your own. And in just a few weeks, we're going to start adding EM1 to this whole process. Hope you got something out of the video. Grow your own food. Food is free when you grow it.
That's funny.
Yeah. Now here's the tricky part. You put the water on the dirt. So Alan has years of experience. You can see how he's nailing it here. It's amazing. And then you're going to want to, because we just made this soil, we're going to want to come back over probably in a little bit as this soaks in.